After 9 years appearing on the popular sitcom Meet the Robinsons and completing the Jacksons' Triumph album and 1981 tour of the same name, Joseph Jackson found himself in an uncertain world in 1982 when the show rapidly ended the year before. Back at home, it was Joseph's time to rekindle with his family, who he hadn't interacted with properly due to him being on a tight, suffocating schedule. Quote, I would call them regularly on the phone and ask how they were doing and stuff. When I was away, either with my brothers or on the show, I was always thinking about them and how they thought, what they did. Joseph's bond with his siblings remained close, particularly with Michael, sharing responsibilities in the care of their exotic pets and making night runs in the car to give out food to the homeless in the streets of Los Angeles. Joseph remembers spending more time with Janet rather than Michael and often comments on how she was a reflection of them both, a sweet and intelligent person who was humorous. Despite not spending time they would like together in the house, Michael and Joseph were together on stage a lot, with audience members often calling them two peas in a pod. And Joseph naturally was involved in some of Michael's musical projects, including writing some of his greatest hits as well as backing vocals for his previous Off the Wall record, and was invited back to co-write for his Thriller record. Having witnessed the success Michael was able to attain as a solo artist, it was at this time that Joseph became more interested in pursuing his own music career, especially how he was extremely supportive of Michael during the Off the Wall and Thriller recording sessions. But this career in music came from an all-time low for Joseph because nobody in the public supported him for who he was, with the media only seeing him as Michael's twin brother and nothing more. While recording for Thriller was happening at Westlake in 1982, Joseph approached Quincy Jones and expressed this decision to make his album, which Jones wholeheartedly accepted and even requested that the album be made up of several finished demos that Michael and Joseph prepared together that were cut from the Thriller record, as well as creating new original songs of his own. It was hard for Joe to start at first, Jones said in a 1986 interview. We required that he put himself out there. We felt it was important to get him into the music industry and begin to take big risks. Joseph was absolutely thrilled with the arrangement and agreed to start on the album under one condition: make this debut a blockbuster success. When Joseph Jackson sat down with Quincy Jones, Rod Temperton, Bruce Sweetan, and his brother Michael Jackson, he was unsure of how the new project was going to sound or look like for the first couple weeks. Having just come out of a Jackson's tour and with time to reflect on his sitcom days, family, and fleshed-out acting career, so far, Joseph was in a lost state of mind. So, the group of five followed what Jones originally said to Joseph and rummaged through several demos that Michael and Joseph did together, ending up finding more than 10 that could work for the album. Over a period of 7 weeks, Joseph re-recorded and co-produced a batch of the tracks they found, and while writing new songs and recording them as well. Outside of his sheltered family life and the showbiz bubble, Joseph felt free to sing songs people could dance to let them know that they weren't about to come out of it feeling negative. People can see that this album is so freeing and there's no heartache and nothing bad ever happens to you. Musically, Jones and Sweetan used synthesizer riffs, post-disco sounds, electronic tempos, ballads, and a variety of instruments to give a new edge to Joseph's already soft yet energetic voice, which is a direct match with Michael. Jones said, "All we ever try to do is bring out his personality. Joseph is absolute dynamite, and we wanted to tell that to the public that what you hear is what we hear all the time." Joseph Jackson's debut album, named Hot Street, was released on CBS Epic Records on March 16, 1983. Reintroducing him to the music-buying public with the singles Sunset Driver, released on December of 1982, and Hot Street, released on February of 1983, pairing up with their own music videos, Jackson's first as a solo artist, in which the then 24-year-old presented a more approachable demeanor and playful attitude that was very much matching with the Jackson family's picture-perfect public image. In preparation for his musical debut, Joseph chose to differentiate himself from his brother's Rhinestones by adopting a youthful, colorful attire accompanied with accent accessories like bow ties to compensate for his childlike or romantic side. Sometimes, he would often wear leather jackets accompanied with signature denim jeans, giving him a more hip and urban look. During this period, both Michael and Joseph Jackson decided to sport a new look. A look would be defined by their iconic Jerry curls, a glossy, loosely curled style that they have established beforehand between 1979 and 1982, where their previously seen afros were exchanged for shorter, curled styles, which they spent several years testing products to help define their curls, to give their hair a healthy and glossy appearance. The hairstyle quickly grew in popularity, with many other male celebrities following suit, and soon became a cultural staple for the Black community. The Jerry curl was so pervasive and yet so distinctive on each person who wore it, depending on the cut and styling. Michael and Joseph Jackson's curls were shorter on top and longer in the back, with loose curls cascading down their forehead. They had a side parting styled in, and their baby hairs slicked down, blending into their sideburns. The Hot Street album first reached number 30 on the Billboard Top LPs and Tapes chart on April 26, 1983, and sold 1,000 copies in the US in the first 5 weeks of its release, also spending a few days at number 68 on the Billboard 200 from April 27, 1983 to May 1, 1983. In the meantime of the very slow reception of his album, Joseph was supportive of his family, including Michael, and often helped him with some of his iconic dance routines and dance steps. One famous example is the Beat It video, in which Joseph helped Michael Peters choreograph the whole routine, and while doing so, others around them became surprised on how much Joseph and Michael mirror each other in a stage environment. During Michael's extended success hiatus for Thriller, by early summer of 1983, Joseph managed to thrill audiences with another dose of Jackson on radio airwaves and on TV screens. Creating music video magic, Joseph was able to, with the help of choreographers, flaunt his dancing abilities in lavishly choreographed routines not dissimilar to the classic Hollywood musicals him and Michael watched growing up. With his dazzling dance moves, Michael was able to amass an immense following of young fans. And now, just a few short months later, Joseph was able to recruit much of that audience with the same family showmanship, but added in his own uniqueness, which increased his talents and relatability. Hot Street clearly made a bold statement, and the record's groovy and versatile tracklist gave an insight into the personal dynamics behind the brother of music's elusive juggernaut. However, believing that he was only a novelty act, only famous because he was Michael Jackson's twin brother, the media originally were unsupportive of Joseph, and DJs were at first turned off, making him seem unlikable to mainstream audiences. "Just you wait, mother. They'll be begging for interviews and public appearances just to give themselves publicity," said Jackson's mother, Catherine, during she and Joseph's private phone call during that time. "I'll show them what they refused to give us Black artists for years." But their remarks immediately vanished as Hot Street grew to be a runaway hit by the early summer of 1983, becoming Joseph's first #1 charting album, with 5 of its singles: Sunset Driver, Hot Street, Nightline, Behind the Mask, and Carousel peaking at #1 of the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart, achieving his first #1 hit single with Sunset Driver, setting the record for becoming the first music artist to have 5 album singles reach #1 on a music chart. The following singles, released from July 1983 to January 1984, made onto the top 10 on the Billboard Hot 100 and Billboard Hot Black Singles chart. Internationally, the album topped the charts in Australia, Austria, Canada, France, Italy, Japan, the Netherlands, Switzerland, and the United Kingdom. It has gained platinum certifications in Argentina, Canada, Denmark, France, Mexico, and the UK, also receiving a gold record by the Recording Industry Association of America, RIA, for the single Hot Street on August 9, 1983.